What is up, everybody? We are back on the Lasagna Show after the weekend. Man, where do you start with this one? Um, Pretty tough situation to see there at the end of the game. Obviously, um, Oswaldo slides in the home, and let's just preface this with the nicest guy on the team. A fan favorite. Even if his offense and different things, aren't what people want it to be. Um, Seems like one of the sweetest guys you can ever meet. I've never met him, but he seems that way. Teammates love him. The fans love him. He's always smiling. Um, tough, tough to watch that right there. Obviously slid in the home. Um, saw some replays, saw some angles, saw some really ugly screenshots of what could have happened to Oswaldo. And man, he could be missing some big time there. Was writhing in pain. The ambulance, when the cart comes out, it's pretty bad. When a whole ass ambulance drives out into the baseball field, there's something really bad going on there. Um, you saw the trainer kind of rubbing his back, talking to him, trying to get his mind off the pain that he's probably feeling in that moment. It's probably agonizing. Um, just overall horrible, horrible scene. You go from a very happy, exciting game, ton of offense, good pitching, to the whole thing just kind of flips on its head. The whole mood changes. Everyone's upset for obvious reasons. So I mean, at first I wasn't 100% sure what happened. I thought maybe he slid and caught his foot in the dirt, where the batters stand. Um, in the batter's box, and maybe his body kept going forward and his foot got caught. It looks like that didn't happen. He kind of slipped past home plate, and then kind of just fell down on his leg, kind of an awkward angle. Definitely hard to figure out how that happened there. I had a teammate that I played with years ago. He similar situation, slid in the home plate. Obviously, batters have been hitting all game, so there's divots in the batter's box and then indentations where the batter's feet would be. He slid into home. One of his feet, his bottom foot underneath him, caught in one of those divots as his body was sliding past home plate, and it twisted his whole foot backwards, broke his ankle, dislocated it, and he looked up after his slide, and his foot was backwards. And this situation totally reminded me of that. As soon as Oswaldo slid and kind of rolled over, I was like, "Oh fuck! Please don't tell me that's what happened." So I mean, and this guy, my former teammate, had to get plates and screws to hold everything in place. It was ugly, horrible. But same thing happened. They brought an ambulance onto the field. They gave him a morphine drip on the field to deal with the pain. I mean, I can't even imagine the excruciating pain that he was going through there. And we saw him, hitting his head, pounding his head on the ground, and just writhing. So, what a horrible, horrible feeling, horrible scene for him. Um, and we wish him all the best. It's he might have a long road going forward. I mean, we can go over roster implications, but I mean, we can all figure out what that means. DJ's coming back, Peraza, whatever, Vivas. That'll all handle itself and work itself out. So really no need to get in depth about what this means about third base or what's going to happen there. But man, just feel horrible for one of the nicest guys on the team right there. I mean, I didn't have an ankle situation, but I had a catastrophic ACL situation and meniscus running full speed. My ankle did roll under me, and it caused my knee to twist horribly, like horrible torque and just whole thing. Going from a dead sprint to a twist like that, it was horrible. Couldn't move my leg, dangling beneath me. And the pain, when that pain sets in, when you're just laying there, it is just, there's nowhere to go. You just got to take it. You just got to eat it. It's tough. It happens so quick, and it seemed like that happened to Oswaldo. I mean, he's just laying there, and that reality sets in that there's no ice pack, there's no pill you can take quickly to take that pain away. He was just sitting there eating it, man, and that is a tough it's a tough dude. I mean, they put him up in the ambulance, and you saw the look on his face. You know, it looked like he kind of came to grips with the fact that he was in some big trouble there. Um, you never know. Hopefully, it's just a dislocation, but there could be fractures. There could be surgery needed. So it's just horrible, horrible situation. And on the road too, you're in Seattle, unfamiliar territory. So just so many different factors play into there. Just tough. Jacob says, anyway, it's Achilles. I don't think so. I saw a screenshot that looked like a pretty clear dislocation. His foot was kind of sideways from the base of his lower, I don't know what that shin bone, I guess you can call it. I'm not an anatomy major here, but I don't know if it's a femur or what that is, but it looked like his ankle very well could have been either broken or slightly dislocated from the bottom of his leg. So, I mean, they're going to have to put him to sleep. They're going to have to set his foot. They're going to have to get x-rays. They're going to have to see what it looks like in there. Or is there breaks? Is there fractures? Yeah, best case scenario would be if it's just dislocated and they somehow could just pop it back in or something. Or maybe he has a small fracture with a dislocation, and he's, you know, in a cast or whatever. But it's ugly, man. It could be. It's going to be pretty bad either way. I mean, he's going to be out for a while. You just hope it's not something that's going to impact him going forward for the rest of his career. A lot of times, you know, guys have a catastrophic lower leg situation, and you can heal and you can rehab and you can do all those things, but you know, do you ever fully trust it again when you're running? He's going to have to slide. I don't know if he slides on his left leg or his right leg, but it could be the leg that gets tucked under him when he slides. There could be a lot of different reasons why, you know, coming back could be a tough thing to do for him. So prayers go out to him and his whole situation. And yeah, that's just, you never want to see that when all the players on both sides are on a knee and biting their lips and stuff and looking genuinely concerned. You know, something major just happened, and that was very, very tough to see. Always right says, devastated for Waldo. He plays with such joy. I can't believe he actually made sure he touched home plate with his ankle dangling. Hard not to love the kid. Yeah, he really did. You can see his face in the replay, kind of wince, reaches back, touches the plate, makes sure he was safe, and then he just kind of folds and lays on the ground. And you know, that pain probably started to set in, and he looked like he was in big trouble. That you can see, they mentioned on the telecast that the Yankees training staff also called out the Mariners training staff. They all ran out there together. So when you see both staffs going out there quickly, some major shit just happened, and you can see the the Mariners training staff member put his fist up to center field, probably signaling for the cart and ambulance. So that is just horrible. You know, in sports, especially football, when the cart comes out, some major shit just happened because, you know, they can't get two guys there to just, you know, help you hobble off the field. They got to get you laid out and drive you somewhere. So when the cart comes out in football, some major shit just happened. When the cart came out tonight, you know, fuck, like something big time just happened to Oswaldo, and they're going to need a little bit more than a couple of guys carrying him into the dugout. So just a horrendous situation there. And you just pray for the guy. So tough. It just kind of dampened the whole spirits of the whole game. Homers left and right. You got all this stuff going on. I got my T-Rent jersey sitting here waiting. So, you know, we'll get into the game a little bit. Just have to start with, you know, Oswaldo, prayers out to him. Horrible situation. You know, something you rarely see on the baseball field. You really don't see the ambulance come out that often. So just sad, you know, for a variety of reasons, obviously. And you pray for the guy. We'll probably have some news about it tomorrow morning or late tonight. They're going to take him straight to the hospital, x-rays, you know, maybe a CT scan, see if there's any ligament damage or tendon or whatever the hell you want to call it. Fractures, how are they going to set it, you know, possible surgery. So it's going to be a long night for Oswaldo, but we should hear about that soon, and prayers go out to him. You just hate to see that. So we'll touch on the game a little bit here. Obviously, start with the pitching. Clark Schmidt early didn't look great. definitely give up some damage, give up a couple homers there early. Hung a breaking ball there to J-Rod, and then he tries to get a cutter in, and he got absolutely crushed, left the middle. So definitely a positive sign to see Clark respond to the early damage that he gave up, and get into the seventh inning of that game. Definitely one of those guys who's working his way back from missing some time. The stuff has been there. His stuff grades out really well, but the location hasn't been great. He's had a history of having some struggles against left-handed batters, so we saw that a little bit early. But I was curious about his cutter because he tries to bust that cutter in on lefties a lot, and when he doesn't get it in enough, it's middle and it gets smoked usually. So I looked back and I wanted to see what is his usage with that cutter, because oftentimes sometimes it's not great when he misses definitely in the lefties, and he used it over 30% of the time today. It was by far his most utilized pitch. So looks like he's going primarily cutter, sweeper, and that knuckle curve. And when it's on, especially the knuckle curve and the sweeper. He had some really good movement on those pitches today. When it's down in the zone is filthy, starts knee high, looks like a strike, breaks out of the strike zone. Exactly what you want to see with breaking stuff like that. And he's a solid 3 or 4 starter. I'd lead more 4 in the rotation there. Against a team that's been pretty strong offensively in the Mariners recently. Schmidt goes 6 innings. Did give up 3 earnings, I think. 3 total in runs, 6 strikeouts. That's a quality start. I mean, what else can you ask for from your 4 starter there? Much better than the Cookie Carrasco or what we've seen, before that. So very positive to see Clark get late into the game and give his team a really good chance to win that game, which they did. Offense did their thing. Mike says trying to find positives. Starting rotation has been strong lately. It really has. Rodon kind of got roughed up a little bit the other day, but before that, a pretty consistent string of starts there where the rotation looked really good. Will Warren looked fantastic in Oakland. Yarbrough gave them a solid start. That was something I was kind of vouching for after Cookie was getting busted up a little bit there towards the end before he got DFA'd or sent down. But, the rotation is looking good. Bullpen, a little shaky sometimes, but the offense keeps doing what the offense is doing right now. I mean, you're not going to really need a whole lot of perfection on the pitching staff. But real quick, guys, thank you for joining tonight. I know it's late for a lot of you guys on the East Coast. It is 10 o'clock here out west, but those of you who are in here are troopers. I appreciate you tuning in, especially after sort of a rough situation there with Oswaldo to end that game. But find the Lasagna Show on YouTube. Go to my Twitter page if you're watching on Twitter. Click the link in my bio. Subscribe to the Lasagna Show. Like these videos, this one tonight, obviously, and click on the other ones like those too. And let's, go on this adventure together and enjoy some Yankees baseball this season. Monday through Thursday, primarily, we'll be doing post-game shows just like tonight. So definitely be sure to tune in and, keep an eye out. Mike says your namesake coming back should provide a big boost. Yeah, Loaiska coming back should be huge. I did see reports he's throwing 95-ish right now, which gives me a little bit of concern. Obviously, he's working his way back. It's going to be a slow build-up because he's missed a lot of time coming back from a catastrophic arm injury, had surgery, blah, blah, blah. But he's a guy, even when he was throwing 98 to 100, who gave up a lot of soft contact, wasn't a huge swing and miss guy. So, if the velocity is down to 95, I'm a little scared of, the type of contact opposing hitters might have off of him as he works his way back. So definitely don't want to see him in a setup role right away. I want to see Lasagna in some low leverage situations, work his way back, build some confidence, see the velocity go up. And then if he's, looking pretty dialed in over time, over a string of appearances there, start working his way back into maybe the 7th or 8th inning and see if he can be that hard throwing, flame throwing, type of reliever we all have been waiting for all season. I think this year more than last year, people are starting to notice the fact that we don't have a ton of hard throwers in the bullpen and how important it is sometimes to get a hard fastball guy that can miss some bats late in the game. So hopefully Loaiza can be that. Really hoping for that. I know Cousins is coming back soon as well. I think he threw some live batting practice to Stanton, and the slider looked good. Had really good really good break to it. His two-seam fastball looked good as well. So definitely a positive sign to get him back along with Loizaga, a couple of guys with some pretty nasty stuff. And it's going to, take the workload off of some of the other guys like Cruz, who have been kind of used, I wouldn't say overused so far, but used quite often. So it'll be a little bit of a break for them to get a couple of fresh arms in there and kind of spread out the appearances. But once the hierarchy of that setup situation starts to figure itself out, you're going to see some pretty consistent moves, made to bring in Cruz, Loizaga, Cousins, Weaver, Williams at the end of games. Hopefully, Williams is looking much better by then. But if that group right there is pitching, to what they're capable of, that could be a super strong staff or grouping late in games, especially when you have a lead. So definitely something to look forward to. But let's get to this offense. I mean, man, oh man, how can you not talk about T-Ren tonight? Had to get the Old Faithful ready. Guy's unbelievable. At this rate, 2 home runs tonight. His OPS is 1.036. He's hitting almost 290. I think I saw a tweet. He's got as many home runs as Shohei Ohtani so far. We're heading into mid-May here, so it's not like it's just been a, pretty rough situation. Matt B says ankle, not ACL. I know. I was talking about his, lower half injuries, lower leg injuries. A situation where, you're running, you fall on it wrong, or you twist your ankle a certain way, or and then you go from being good to having a catastrophic lower leg injury that you can't move your leg. So I was comparing it a little bit to my situation. That's where we're coming from there. But I would be shocked if it was ACL. I don't think so. John says Grisham for King was a great deal, which you are always poking the bear with the Soto stuff. So I love it. Got to keep that rolling. No, but Grisham at this point, tied with Ohtani for homers. Is he going to start in the All-Star game for the American League at this point? I mean, he's not even a full-time starter on his own team, but with these numbers, I mean, what can you really say here? 12 homers, 22 RBIs, OPS over 1,000, hitting 290. The guy's tearing the cover off the ball, and he's been doing it all season. So, got to tip your cap. 2 homers for him. One of them, bounces off the glove from J-Rod there. J-Rod had himself a pretty eventful game there in center field. He had the opportunity with Trent Grisham. He's running down a couple of the homers that went over his head. I think Austin Wells, and then Trent hit one almost in the same spot. For a second homer. So he's one of those ball don't lie. Trent hit a pitch that was basically identical. The first pitch was a changeup. The second one was I think it's like a tailing sinking fastball, but it was almost the same location, which is crazy. A little bit up in the zone, a little bit away in the strike zone. Sticks barrel out there, keeps it fair, hits it almost in the same exact spot for J-Rod there. So definitely, something you don't see every day. Pretty consistent, same pitch, almost same, hit it to the same spot. That's unbelievable. Austin Wells, got to talk about Austin Wells. 4 RBIs today. This is a guy that I've consistently wanted last season to get more run. He was basically a platoon catcher, but you saw the potential there in his bat so much that they had him hitting 4th for a while there late in the season, and hitting middle of the order into the playoffs. I think even a couple of World Series games, if I remember correctly. So this is a guy that they obviously have faith in. They know that the power is real. He had some pretty mature at bats when he first came up and started getting going, and then pitching always adjusts to hitters. He had a hole middle of the strike zone, about up chest high, and he kept swinging at it over and over and over again. It was a pretty predictable outcome every time they went up there. So it's nice to see that he's adjusted somewhat. His OPS is 760. He's got 8 homers, 28 RBIs. So if he has 20 to 25 homers, closer to 25, he has an OPS 750 or above, maybe pushing 775, pushing maybe 8. That would be phenomenal from your catcher. Plus having guys like Grisham and some of these others hitting, well above what the back of their baseball card says. I know Grisham's had some power in the past that he showed in San Diego, but no one predicted what he's doing right now, which is unbelievable. So if you can have Wells, maybe 20 to 25 homers, if you can have Ben Rice, maybe 20 to 25 homers, another young guy coming into his own. Rice has been even better. He's got a 918 OPS, so well over 900, 130 at bats into the season, which is fantastic for him. 9 homers, 20 RBI, so pretty similar numbers there to Austin Wells. And, you know, Rice is one of those guys who is emerging as a pretty reliable middle of the order left-handed bat, and he's pretty young. So we haven't seen him maintain this type of pace throughout a whole regular season yet. He's really young. I mean, not really young. He's 26 years, I think. So, you know, he's young in his major league career, not super young, you know, literally. But it's going to be interesting to see how he carries this through the rest of the season. Is there going to be a super steep regression where he absolutely tanks? Is he going to come down just a little bit and maintain a pretty solid OPS and still hit for power? It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out for him. But if he can be that homegrown, talented, power-hitting, left-handed bat in the middle of the order to eventually split up Judge, Stanton, and Goldschmidt, that's going to be fantastic. Speaking of Paul Goldfish, we're going to call him Paul Goldfish all season. So if you haven't heard of that before, get used to it. Almost 160 at bats in the season. He's hitting 350. Holy shit! I mean, one of the highest averages in all of baseball. If it weren't for Aaron Judge hitting 400, like the alien that he is, Paul Goldfish would be talked about a lot more. 21 RBIs. He's got an 895 OPS. His OPS is floating right around 900 there. He's absolutely been crushing left-hand pitching, and he's been solid lately against right-hand pitching as well, which I was looking at pretty closely because for a while there he was his OPS was and his average were kind of held up by his success against left-hand pitching, but of late he's been hitting right-handers as well. I would say equally as well, but he has been hitting the righties recently, which is a great sign to see. Especially, you know, late in the season, playoff push, getting into the playoffs. He's going to face some tough right-handers, so it's nice to see him start to hit them and not be, you know, so one-sided with hitting off lefties so much. John says we need a team to trade for Devers and then trade him to us. Ugh, that Devers situation is messy, man. I mean, he's pissed off. He's disgruntled. They've been talking about, you know, play first base, be the DH, move Bregman to third. I mean, that's been pretty ugly there, and he's pretty pissed off. And didn't he just sign an extension recently? So, I mean, he's owed a pretty hefty amount of money. So that's going to be definitely interesting to see how that plays out going forward. I don't think he's going to be traded. He's too valuable to that team offensively. I think didn't he just win Player of the Week last week? So again, I mean, that's a pretty big statement from him. After all the BS, he's out there winning Player of the Week and reminding his organization of who he is offensively. So, going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But Garrett Cole is not going to be pitching against him this season when we play them head-to-head. So I think we got a good chance. But it is what that is. Cody Bellinger. My agenda is being fed recently. That OPS was on the floor in the 5s not too long ago. He's almost at 7 now. It's been, you know, a pretty sustained streak here where he's heating up, and it's making this situation with the outfielders even harder than it was before, because a few weeks ago the easy answer was, oh, Bellinger's got to sit. He's hitting like shit. He's not playing well. You got to play Dominguez. You got to play Grisham with the hot hand. You know, you got to play Judge every day. Bellinger's got to be out. Well, fast forward to his last 15 games, he's hitting 300, and he's got an OPS over 900. The guy's hitting, man. He's better than he showed early. This is my philosophy with established veteran players that are still in their prime that have had very recent success. He was always going to hit. Anyone who thought differently just hadn't been paying too much attention. A little bit of down year last year because he had the rib issue. I think he got a cracked rib and then he got hit in the hand and had a broken finger. But even then, his numbers weren't that bad last season. And in 2023, he was fantastic. So you figure, okay, a great 2023. 2024, he's battling injuries that were kind of bad luck injuries. It wasn't like a recurring hamstring or a calf or something. Gets hit in the finger, that sucks, and still put up pretty solid numbers. So you figure if he has a full, healthy season with the Yankees, like 2023, we can see some pretty good numbers here, especially with the short porch. I mean, he's not an old guy. He is age 29. He's not even 30 yet. It feels like the guy's been in the league for a decade. So do not close the book on Cody Bellinger just yet. The OPS is coming up. The power is going to come. Wait till you see this guy in Yankee Stadium pulling the ball to the second deck often. You're going to be like, holy shit, I completely forgot about that slow start. But he was always going to hit. Always. The people that were saying, oh, he's washed, this is a bad trade, blah, blah. Just be patient. It's early. Give him time. It's cold, whatever. Any excuse you want for why guys start out slow, you could go down the whole list. Slow off season, wasted all his good hits in spring training, went from spring training warm to the cold, not used to the East Coast, maybe SAT, blah, blah, all these different reasons. The guy was always going to hit. Give him some time, and he's showing you that right now. 2 hits today. He's looking much better. The swing is violent as hell. He's always swinging hard. He looks good, and he's athletic. This is another guy you could put left field, center field, right field. He runs the base as well. He's dependable. He always looks like he's high. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, sometimes he does, but not as much as he did on the Dodgers. On the Dodgers, he looked like he was blazed out constantly. But great to see Bellinger hitting now. So Trent Grisham, 2 bombs. He's probably going to be an all-star. Dominguez goes crazy against the A's over the weekend. Bellinger's hitting. Aaron Judge is hitting 400. Let's just touch on Aaron Judge real quick. I mean, people are starting to get jaded a little bit. I know every day you see a new post on Twitter about 400 and his OPS is 1 million and he's on pace for, doing all these crazy things. He's almost halfway to 30 homers. He's almost halfway to 100 RBIs. It's May 12th. Like what? And he's hitting 400. It's not like he's hitting 400 after the first couple of weeks of the season. This is almost 160 at bats to start the year, and he's hitting 415. Unbelievable. Every year it seems like he gets better after the last couple of seasons. He's on track to win another MVP. He's playing pretty good defensively this year. The arm looks good. His range is pretty solid. He's, not having to be out there in center field covering gaps and all those different things you got to do in center field, which puts wear and tear on the guy's body who's 6'7", almost 300 pounds. He looks incredible. His OPS is almost 1,300 right now. That is just absurd. In his last 30 games, he's hitting 440 with just stupid production. So, he's going to hit. We just got to take it. We can't take it for granted. We can't be jaded by it. We just got to sit back sometimes and look at these numbers like, will we ever see a homegrown Yankee that was drafted by them do this ever again? Probably not ever. I mean, this guy is a unicorn. It's absolutely absurd. 33 years old, and it feels like he had just entered his prime like a couple of years ago. The numbers he's putting up are literally the best offensive numbers from a non-steroid user that we've ever seen ever. Like, this is uncharted territory for him. So just got to appreciate it every night. Another 2 hits tonight. I think he had 4 hits the other day against the A's. The guy just keeps it rolling. And it kind of feels like the power hasn't fully been there this whole season. Now he's got 14 homers. Crazy enough, he's only got 2 more homers than Trent Grisham. Holy shit. I mean, it's just, both of those guys, you can't wrap your head around it. Trent Grisham is doing unbelievable things, and then Aaron Judge is doing superhuman things. And then you got Ben Rice hitting well, Paul Goldfish hitting 350, Bellinger's hitting again. Volpe, 2 hits today. He's been pretty solid, 777 OPS. Recently, last 15 games, he's hitting 320. So great to see him coming around as well. Dominguez didn't play today, but he was on fire over the weekend. Austin Wells, 760 OPS, had a homer. Everything's clicking right now for these guys. And if you look at the numbers offensively, I think the Yankees are at the top. They're either leading or at the top of almost every offensive category: OPS, home runs, RBIs, batting average, on base plus slugging, weighted runs created plus, OPS plus, all that stuff. I think they're either first. I saw they put a graphic up earlier during the game with all the different metrics and stats and stuff like that. They're first in almost everything. So this is kind of what we had hoped was going to happen when a lot of these young guys came up: Dominguez, Volpe, Austin Wells, Ben Rice. I mean, that's 4 stud prospects that you hoped came up and developed as major league players that were better than I mean, expectations, are always a little crazy for Yankees prospects, but you hope they come up and weren't busts. It, I think it's, I think it's fair to say Peraza so far has been a bust or is a bust. I know it's a little unfair because he never really gets that full runway of playing time consistently, but he hasn't really earned it. OPS is in the 660s. He's had 50 at bats, hitting about 200. Um, last 15 games hitting 170. Last 7 games hitting 160. Last 30 games he's hitting 200. So I mean, it's just he hasn't shown you any reason why you would give him a limited run, especially when you have guys that play his position that were better. Um, he got the start second base, but DJ is going to come back. I don't want to be mean. I know we were dealing with Reyes and we're Oswaldo's out now and Peraza's not hitting, so maybe we should give DJ a chance. But if he starts hitting into these double plays and hitting these soft, slow ground balls all the damn time, I'm going to lose my mind. But we're going to give him a bit. I know he's been hitting in the minors. I don't give much attention to that. I mean, good for you. You're hitting minor league pitching. We need him to hit in the majors. And, last couple of years, he hasn't shown that he can do that consistently. Obviously, he's been hurt. But the ground ball rate and the double plays are awful. Even if he hits a single, he clogs up the base paths. You can't really, go first or third with him. He's going to be station to station. So, they're still paying him. He's going to be back. There's a need right now. He's going to play a lot going forward. And we just got to cross our fingers and hope he keeps hitting and keeps doing what he was doing in the minors and the majors. My hopes aren't up, but then again, my hopes were a little off with Paul Goldfish, and I was completely wrong on that. So maybe I'm completely wrong on DJ LeMahieu too. I'd be very excited to be wrong about that as well. If DJ can be anything offensively to this lineup to keep things rolling the way it is, and not hamper some of the wild success we've seen from this group, that would be amazing. So. Fingers are not crossed with DJ, but we will see how that plays out. And I think he's in Seattle. I think he might be starting the day. I think it's a day game on Wednesday. I could be mistaken. Let's take a quick peek. Tomorrow they play late. And then on Wednesday, it is a day game. So probably we'll see DJ there, whether you want it or not. It's going to be there. So hopefully he does well. Real quick, those of you who are watching on Twitter, please go to my Twitter page, click the link in my bio, find the Lasagna Show on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and let's go on this wild, crazy baseball adventure together for the rest of the season and have some fun with it. I love seeing you guys in the chat. I love seeing you guys chime in. Sometimes I'm sitting here rambling about the lineup and different things, and I'm not thinking of something that might happen during the game. So when you guys are talking about different stuff that's been going on in the chat, it definitely it's not only fun to engage with you guys, but it might be something I forgot or something I missed or something I'm not thinking about. So love seeing you guys in there. Leave lots of comments, like all the videos you see on the YouTube page, and definitely look forward to engaging with you guys more throughout the season. I know this has been something I haven't really done before myself personally. I've done some other podcast stuff, but it's kind of fun to have some of the people I communicate with on Twitter all the time being here in this type of format, live reactions, live comments, live discussions, and you never know where a discussion might go. You never know what that might turn into. So it's been fun so far, and I appreciate those of you who have reached out and supported the Lasagna Show so far. So I appreciate you guys a ton. But find the Lasagna Show on YouTube, click the link in my Twitter bio, and hit the subscribe button. That would be fantastic. Eddie says we just need DJ at least to be second half of 2023 version where he was decent. Yeah, that would be ideal for sure. Father Time is not slowing down at all. So, he's another couple years older. Lower half injuries are not a great sign for a guy who's 6'4", 6'5", like 240, 250 maybe. He's a big dude. So when your lower half starts giving out as you're pushing 40, usually it's a sign for disaster. But you never know. Maybe he'll dip into the secret sauce that Paul Goldfish has been sticking his face in, and we can see some DJ Resurgence bandwagon Twitter accounts pop up. So that'll be interesting to see. Jesse says, when is Jazz supposed to be back? Whew, man, it sounds like he had a horrible oblique situation. I don't I don't think horrible in terms of tear off the bone type shit, but it sounds like he, had a really, really bad oblique situation. So it could be months. Let's say maybe 2 or 3 months. It could be quite a while. So, and then he's going to have to come back and start swinging again and do a rehab assignment. And coming back from stuff like that, sometimes you're a little hesitant to like take a full swing because you don't want to pull it again. A little scared. Those soft tissue situations are not to be taken lightly, especially in oblique. That's one of the worst you could possibly have as a hitter. So I'd say he's going to be out at least through the All-Star break, maybe even past that. I mean, who knows? I mean, it's middle of May, so you got 3 more weeks in this month, and you got June, July. I'd say we'd have a much clearer picture by the All-Star break, but I don't think he'll be back before that, which is pretty unfortunate. But we might see Luis Hill back, within the next month or so. So that's definitely exciting. John says DJ is washed. Time to become a coach. Whew, man, I want to agree with you, but I'm still licking my wounds from crashing out about Paul Goldfish. So I gotta have a little bit of faith in DJ. I don't know. I can't sit here and tell you I'm very confident in his ability at this point in his career and how slow his bat speed is and how unathletic he is and how often injured he is. But maybe he surprises me. Maybe he surprises all of us and he just steps right in and continues this unbelievable offensive output that we've seen with this lineup. So you never know. Are my hopes up? Absolutely not. Is there some potential that he might hit? Maybe. You never know. He used to have some pretty good bat to ball skills. He hit for high average, punched a few oppo singles around there. So if he can hit some singles and just keep the merry-go-round going with this lineup, get to the top of the order, get the big boys back up there hitting, I'd be totally satisfied with that. If there's some 2-out base knocks from him to keep things going, there's a runner on second, 2 outs, he hits a single the other way and the run scores, I will take that every day of the week, and that will far surpass my expectations for him. So I'm definitely hoping for a resurgence from DJ because we're going to need it. So it looks like Oswaldo's probably going to be out for a while. Peraza's not hitting. Vivas, not very impressed with him so far. The guy swings out of his ass at everything. You can throw it 45 feet and bounce it to the plate. He's probably going to swing at it, so I'm not very confident in him. Obviously, Jazz, he's going to be out for a while, so we're going to need DJ. We don't know if he's going to stay healthy. We don't know if he's going to hit. We don't know anything, but that's why you play the game. So we'll see him on Wednesday, and fingers crossed. Jesse says, what would you do come the deadline? I definitely want power arms in the back of the bullpen. I don't know what that'll cost. I don't know where they'll be available. With the wild card being extended now, more teams think they're in it later in the season than they used to. So a little bit reluctant to give up players, or there's only a set amount of players available, the most popular ones, and you got all these different teams that think they're going to make a playoff run, trying to make a bid and offer them whatever prospects they have. So I don't think Brian Cashman in a year where you lost Garrett Cole is going to go balls to the wall and move some of these prospects that he's accumulated. There's a handful of good ones. Definitely guys like Lombard and others in the minors who have impressed this season. So I don't think a year where you lost Garrett Cole, I don't think Cashman's going to empty the tank, considering what they gave up for in the Soto situation, and some young guys from our system have come up to the bigs and are contributing now. So trades plus prospects graduating, it kind of felt like the minor league system for the Yanks was a little shallow, but there's some players definitely making them names for themselves this season. So we'll see if Cashman's willing to move some of them, but I would definitely add some flamethrowers to the back of the bullpen. I want 98 plus mile-an-hour fastballs. I want them to attack the top of the strike zone late in the count and get swing and miss, especially late in games. I know Helsley or whatever his name is from the Cardinals has been discussed, but I don't know what the cost is going to be. And I think they've won 9 straight. So maybe the Cardinals might think they're in contention. So I don't know if Helsley will even be available. It's a little too early to see what might be available, but I would look for some infield depth. Maybe a versatile infield piece that can play second and third. It's going to be interesting to see how things are looking towards the deadline. What are the team needs? Who's healthy? Who's not healthy? I think we might be okay in the starting pitching department with Hill coming back. A guy, maybe it's a little unrealistic. I don't know. But a guy that I kind of have my eye on a little bit, Tony Gonsolin on the Dodgers. I know the Dodgers just beat our ass in the World Series, and we shouldn't be talking to them, making trades and shit. But baseball's a business, especially when you're trying to acquire good players. I mean, they've got Dustin May, they've got Sasaki, they've got Yamamoto, they've got Snell coming back, they got Kershaw. They've got an embarrassment of riches in the pitching department. So if Tony Gonsolin gets bumped out of their rotation, and the Yankees are like, damn, we use a guy with a splitter and a slider. Sounds a little familiar, right? Splitter guy. I'm sure Blake would have a field day with him. Like we're watching Cruz right now. Maybe it's a little bit of a lofty expectation to maybe make that call and see what you can do. But if the Dodgers have a surplus, maybe you can snag a Tony Gonsolin and give them a decent prospect that they like. Something like that. A low end starter, definitely some infield help, second and third base. But my priority would be power arms to back the bullpen. I want some heat there. It's tough, in a playoff series when you're seeing the same relievers over and over again. You start picking up Jake Cousins' slider. You start picking up Hamilton's Slambio. You start picking up on Luke Weaver's changeup. We saw Big Christmas hit his changeup, a quarter mile. Devin Williams, we've seen his changeup be good, but his pitch sequencing is a little predictable, and he hasn't been good in the playoffs before. So, in a series in the playoffs, when you're seeing these guys, almost every game, every other game, you're picking up spin, you're picking up R angle, you're picking up velocity. You're getting used to the way these pitches break. All of a sudden you can sit on the off speed. But what never slumps? A 98-mile-an-hour fastball, chest high at the letters, that blows you away. So definitely something I want to see them prioritize at the deadline. I don't know who will be available. Who the hell knows what it'll cost? But if I had my perfect world situation, I would definitely emphasize power arms back at the bullpen and maybe a second base / third baseman, middle of infielder kind of type, and a lower end starter. But we all have our wish list at the deadline, and usually they don't come true. So can't get your hopes up too much. But overall today, good showing from the guys. Pitching looked good. Tim Hill gave him a dinger there, but I'm not really worried about it. Game was kind of in limbo. Yankees had a good lead, so 11-5 is the final. Tomorrow we will be facing Brian Wu, who's been pretty solid. 44 innings pitched so far this season. He has 44 strikeouts, so about a strikeout per inning. 0.92 whip, so he has sub 1, which is right where you want to be as a starting pitcher. So he doesn't put on, probably not walking a lot of guys, not putting guys on base. So we'll definitely have to earn our way on tomorrow. ERA is 3.25, and he has a 4-1 record. So Brian Wu's been tough. This will be a really nice test for our offense tomorrow. And I look forward to it. We're going to have Max Fried on the hill. Got our ace on there. I mean, arguably the best starting pitcher in all of baseball right now against Brian Wu, who's one of their best. So tomorrow, definitely going to be a fun watch if you like pitching. So Matthew June says Waldo's probably done for the year, right? Yeah, I'd say 95%, unless some miracle happened where it's just a dislocation, there's no fractures, or maybe it was a dislocation with mild fractures and he's out, maybe a couple months. But the way it looked, probably not great. If you need screws or plates, I'd say done for the year for sure. So you hope that's not the case, because that could be so tough to come back from. But yeah, praying for the guy. Really fun game. Ended up being a pretty sad ending, seeing Waldo go down like that. Nicest guy on the team, always smiling, always excited, always doing, not only being one of the nicest guys on the team, but he seems like a guy who's willing to do anything. He's got 100 different gloves. He's played outfield, he's played third base, played shortstop, played second. I think he's played first a little bit. He's been on the mound in blowout games. I wouldn't even be surprised if he can catch. So the guy's just, willing to do anything for the team. He's been solid left-handed from the left side when he's been hitting. Just an all-around great dude. A guy every team wants. Great in the clubhouse. Solid at the plate. Plays almost every position. Makes it easy on the manager. So it's just a tough blow to lose him like that. To see him in that much pain. Guy doesn't deserve it, man. The universe is cruel sometimes, but I have confidence. If there is a catastrophic injury, I have confidence that he'll take on to the rehab challenge and come back better from it. It's all you can do. Your mindset has to be, you got to work your ass off to the rehab, do what the doctors and physical therapists are telling you. Be tough, be dedicated, work through it, and I'm confident that he's the type of guy who can bounce back from a pretty tough injury. So hopefully, hopefully we get not the absolute worst news tomorrow. It's probably going to be bad regardless, but worst case scenario would be screws and plates. We don't want to see that, and that would just be devastating for him. But great having you guys in here tonight. I know it's late on the East Coast. For those of you East Coasters who are watching on Twitter and YouTube right now, thank you for tuning in. It's been a pretty good turnout tonight. Obviously, game ended on a somber note, but we are glad that the Yankees did get the win. Great pitching matchup tomorrow, which is fantastic. So definitely looking forward to that. But for now, thank you guys for tuning in. Go on my Twitter page, click the link in my bio, find the Lasagna Show on YouTube, like this video, subscribe to the channel. It's going to be fun doing this all season with you guys, and I look forward to seeing you in the chat. All right, but for now, we will see you tomorrow after the game. We are doing Mondays through Thursdays, so mark your calendars. And for now, have a great rest of your night, and go Yankees. Thank you so much, Lou.